Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another amazing week of Pulp Picks. I'm Corey.
I'm Fritz.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Patrick.
And welcome. Patrick's going to start us off today.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I've been talking about this book for a long time. Since it was solicited, I have been excited about Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead. And when it says something like versus the Army of the Dead, you fully expect Bruce Campbell to somehow be associated with this book. But did you know that he wrote this book? The Chin wrote this book. And, you know, so of course you get excited about it, but then you're also kind of like, but can the guy write a comic book? And it turns out he can. This was a lot of fun.
He definitely
It's taking place during World War II, makes a lot of sense for Sergeant Rock and Easy Company. Turns out that the Nazis aren't doing so well. Spoiler alert, they lost that war. But
I hadn't gotten that far yet.
But in if you haven't by now, in this universe, they decide they're running out of troops, so they got to figure out a way to get more troops. Well, reanimating them is a pretty good way to get a lot more troops out on the field. So that's the setup. He does a really good job. Sometimes people try too hard, and I think that that's the case in a lot of the books where celebrities or pro wrestlers or actors or whatever else, musicians, when they do it well, they figure out what the story is and they kind of stick with it, and they don't throw a whole lot of extra fluff or try to prove themselves too much. In this story, stays on task. He gets the characters, he gets the vibe, the art fits great. It has got that gritty World War II kind of feel to it, and then you throw in Nazi zombies getting shot up, and yeah, it was great, and I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna throw a shout out to Amazing Spider-Man this week. I have not been a big fan of the whole AVEVXVYVZ whatever is going on.
Coming at me like that, are we?
It's fine. It's fine. I'm just, I've been
Patrick throwing shade from the other end of the table.
It's fine. It's fine. And I'm not saying that it's poorly done. I've been doing this for a long time, and the massive crossover events are just, they're always the big deal today. And the second that they're done, everybody's like, oh yeah, that happened. I forgot about that. But this issue was really kind of cool, and I really liked it. So if you're looking for a standalone Amazing Spider-Man issue to try to give,
I feel like he got a lot of closure in this issue.
There was kind of some open wounds. We're hoping that they close, but it's a standalone story. You can totally read just this, and it's a fun issue.
Yeah, it's good as like a Spider-Man issue. It's good as like a tie-in to the general thing of what's going on with Judgment Day. It's also, I'm just happy anytime Nick Jagoda's on art for anything, so that's always a plus.
It took a second to get used to the kind of...
Yeah, his style can be a bit jarring at first, but...
Well, it's very like manga inspired, so the eyes were a little bit cartoony and whatever, but it worked. It worked. So anyway, that's what I got. Sarah, what do you have today?
This week, I know you'll all be shocked. I picked Batman Beyond the White Knight, number 5. But I just continue to love the world that Sean Murphy and Dave Stewart are building in this story. I love that Sean Murphy chooses to do like very clever things with the art as well. So like you'll see a silhouette of Bruce, and he doesn't want to be associated with Batman anymore, but you'll see his shadow very clearly shows the bat ears. Or you get Harley, and she's no longer, the jester costume, but you see her shadow, and there's reminiscence of that. But there's very, if you've been reading it, you know that Jack Napier or Joker has kind of been like shadowing with Bruce. So
Right.
So he's no longer alive, but he is in Bruce's mind. And then a very unique thing happens at the end, but I don't want to spoil if you haven't read yet, but you should read it. And it's very clear that they're setting us up for a showdown between Jason Todd and Dick Grayson, which I'm really intrigued to see. go down, because like I said, this this story is so different in terms of, we usually associate Dick Grayson and Bruce fighting, but usually Dick Grayson ending up on the side of Bruce for most things, and Jason Todd kind of like being the outcast. But this has like completely flipped that dynamic on its head. So I'm just really intrigued to see where this story continues to go. And if we're doing shout outs, I'd like to do a shout out to AntMan. I know you're surprised.
Bats and ants. Bats and ants.
But I love Scott Lang, and Scott Lang, shows up in this issue with his daughter Cassie, and it's just a fun story. I think Ewing continues to tell a fun story, and we're gonna hopefully eventually find out who this mystery AntMan is. But I just want to say there's a lot of books on the wall this week. So it's very hard to choose just one.
Sarah ran out of space on the table.
I did.
We ran out of space on the wall. We had to do some shenanigans to get everything to fit last night. So AntMan was very good again this week. That whole series has surprised me. It's a lot better than I expected it to be. Like I was hopeful that it would be good, but it's way better.
I mean, like I knew going in it would probably be good just because like I've never had Ewing miss for me, but like I also did not expect to enjoy an AntMan comic as much as I did. So
well, speaking of people who haven't missed lately, Christopher Cantwell, I think,
also
has been very good.
Speaking over to me then, yes. So my pick this week was Briar issue 1. It's this new kind of like fantasy series by, as Patrick mentioned, Christopher Cantwell. A lot of you probably know him best from his current run in Iron Man. He's done like a lot of other indie stuff too, like he did the Blue Flame. There's some other things.
Blue Flame was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. He also has a new Namor series coming out.
That's right, he's got a new Namor series coming out. So
he's leaving Iron Man,
Yes. But if you're excited for Namor, for like Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, definitely sign up for that. I'm pretty sure it's in the system. You can do that now. Sign up for Namor issue 1.
Yep.
But anyways, back to Briar. It's this really cool like fantasy series. It's like, it's kind of starting like, oh, like you kind of know like, oh, this is how this fairy tale typically goes, and then like something happens and it goes horribly awry, and like everything just goes to pot, and it's kind of like the main character having to deal with the pieces of like what happens when kind of reality sets in and the fairy tale just isn't really a thing anymore. And it's a lot of fun. Garcia's art is just fantastic. It's this like nice blend of like, it's kind of like cartoony, but it's also like there's a lot of violence in here, and like it somehow still works despite having kind of like the like cartoon art style. Like it can do both. It is gorgeous. Oh, it's probably one of the best books, like best looking books you're going to see on the stands right now. I mean, there's a lot of them again, but but no, it's a really solid first start. It's looking like you're going to get like a nice fantasy epic out of this. It's even got like a map at the back that kind of like shows you all the different like lands that you're going to get to see. But no, really strong, good start. Very excited to see where it goes. If we're doing the trend of shout outs today, which I guess seems to be a thing, which one do I want to pick? There's so many. I'm going to go with Defenders number 3. Because it's got all kinds of weird cosmic gobbledygook, and there's a phoenix and a cosmic tiger, and it's super cool. Over to you, Corey.
Speaking of cosmic tigers, over to you.
My pick for this week is Devil's Highway number 5. Art done by the fantastic Brent Schoonover, who will also be here on Saturday, signing books and doing head sketches, and I believe he's gonna have prints here, and he's just a fantastic artist in general. Also written by Ben Percy, who, as you all know, is a close personal friend of mine.
Wait, he is?
Yeah, duh.
I do anticipate the cease and desist.
Yeah. I hear Ryan Reynolds really enjoys reading Benjamin Percy on the Abode.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, you don't have to read it on the Commode. You can read it anywhere.
Exactly. This is an awesome end to this book. If you haven't been reading this, we will have extra issues available on Saturday. It's a mystery book, and there's blood and snakes and cults, and this book sets up for another volume. So I'm really excited to see this book was great, and I'm excited to see where Brent and Ben take this book going forward. And the cover art is just sick. It's like classic tattoo cover art.
I was gonna say, is this your next tattoo?
Maybe. That's super cool. I might have to ask Brent permission, but it looks super cool. But yeah, anyways, I think that's all we have time for because everyone else did shout outs and stuff.
Yep.
So make sure you're here on Saturday. Huge discount comic sale this weekend. Half off all of our dollar comics. And then on Saturday, Brent Schoonover is here. He'll be here from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. And then we'll see you at 11 a.m. Stop in and give us your Pulp Picks. Or not Pulp. We're the Pulp Picks. Give us your picks. And let us know what you liked. And follow us on social media. At PulpCG on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we'll see you then. Hey! Thanks for doing shout-outs, guys. We're going to have a 12-minute video
I'm
now.
sorry. I just,
That's why I kept mine
started.
Yeah, blame him.
It's too much good.
There is a lot of good stuff this week.
You know what you could say? There's gold in them there.
Oh my
I found a way to do it. This ain't gonna make no sense in the audience, but we did it.
You just been waiting for that.
I was spent the whole thing like, okay, when's a good
where
time?
can it
Where
fit?
can I do this? You found it.
You can go on now.
Woo!